sorry about the strange angle. It's just this is like the only position, well, it's the first resting spot for my phone I found, so it doesn't really matter, does it? Yeah, I'm asking now. I've been telling you all for the past year and a half, and well, I'm no better off, am I? If anything, it's a case of life humbling me to in a way that I didn't realise was possible. I thought sincerity towards life, by being a good person and by being a good person and always trying and admitting the reality of the world. So if you're honest with the world, like the good and the bad, and you're sincere within that, and you try to be the best you can be, that's perfection, man. That's perfection. It's like as good as any human can do. Take your own time. This isn't a race. This isn't an ego match with somebody else. This is our own personal experience of this collective shared life, this collective shared world. And I'm experiencing a level of challenge I didn't think was possible within that mindset, because it's really surreal. It's really beyond the reality that I was talking about just now. And yeah, you see the straps on me. Sorry, I appreciate there's only a couple of people that watch each video, so I need to reiterate. I'm wearing all these sports straps that I'm trying to heal myself, my physical conditions. They all have purpose, and within my mental health, where I don't socialise for shit, it doesn't really matter what I look like. I appreciate I put these videos out there, and it must be hard to watch the Andreas you once knew look like this, but I take the advantage of having not seen you in a while, if at all ever, if it's on YouTube or some of my friends on Facebook, to constrain my efforts for healing, because within my mental health, it's a bigger challenge than you might think just to put a top on. I would love to put a top on. And as for the Bluetooth dongle in my ear, it's not a Bluetooth dongle. It's something I actually use to moderate anxiety. So when my heart rate increases, I used to use it to decrease my heart rate and to relax me. But with things of the recent past, something's been reversed. It's like I've got an an irregular heart algorithm or some bollocks like that. Something like that. Sorry, I don't want to swear on this video, as much as the prior one was all about swearing, but that was appropriate on that video. Yeah, so my heart seems to be beating quite sedated, so I'm using it the other way around. I've got it beating very, very fast, and it sort of lifts me to my actual heart rhythm. It tunes my mind and my body that's sedated to my actual pace, my heart pace. That's what I feel how to express it. And yeah, it's a way to regulate myself, where I'm made of eggshells, I seem to be falling apart all the time, but anyway, that's enough of that. I've expressed why I'm okay to look like an idiot, given the circumstance. And let's see if I can remember the title. I always forget them for some reason. Yeah, the case is I've totally forgotten the title, so I'm just going to talk for a bit. That's the purpose of this video. I've not been able to think and really talk on camera from myself. I'm still not here 100%, but I'm here enough to talk from me. And what's happened is where I was proactive, and I'm still proactive to the depression that we all share as a reality, a collective reality that is planet Earth 2020, 2021. And my level of tuned inness to that is such, and not only is it the amount you're able to connect with the truth of life, but it's also a case of how much you're still able to hold on to, how much we're able to hold on to the life that we had before, because we're born into a lie. You know, it's all like you're born as a child and you're born as love for all intents and purposes. You're born as innocence. To start comprehending realities such as war and money, financial exchanges and sex, it's incomprehensible to a child. It's just like pure innocence. Oh, love, family, food, shit, okay, I'm bored, nature, TV, technology, and you experience it in the present moment. You can't imagine the reality. Can you imagine a child seeing the reality of war? Like, we see an image of war on TV and we don't even see the reality. But can you imagine, for instance, the latest conflict, Israel-Palestine? And I'm gonna say Palestine now for the reason of they're a poorer nation, they're a weaker nation, they're less able to deal with the conflicts of war in the first instance. I'm not talking about how many missiles were fired and actually landed on each of the side. Being able to deal with the impact thereafter, and not only that, the emotional distress going back decades that the people hold because Israel's been gifted land, Palestine has it taken away. That's the mentality of the two individuals. Plus all the other restrictions on Palestine and other freedoms on Israel. I'm not getting into politics, I'm just stating the facts. And the mentality of the people to have a missile land on this side rather than this side is going to hurt a lot more, from my honest, childlike perspective, than this side. Imagine being a Palestinian and witnessing this in your neighborhood, with your friends, with your family, as a child. It's incomprehensible. That is a depression. That is the depression, the truth of our world. Everything that makes our society and our culture, because capitalism is the new that's it, you know. Capitalism, which is society, overrides a religion. We allow religion within society, but if you're too that way, you get pushed aside. If you're too any which way, capitalism is the way. Capitalism is the new religion. Capitalism is the new culture. Mine's gone blank, but I'm going to continue. And as a child, how can that child that's there eating their dinner with love, family surrounding them, that's just come back from cycling in the forest, these are very pure, innocent things really for life. It's technology, yeah? But how innocent can you get in terms of technology? Without, what harm is a fucking bicycle going to do to anybody? Nothing. You could argue computers, you can argue video game consoles, you can argue everything, internet. Let's not piss really. And then you bring in this let's take it to another level. You put the experience of a real life thing happening. You're gonna scar nature. The child is innocent. The child is born as nature. Can you imagine rewind 200, 300, 400 years and that child being born? Yeah, there's been wars in the, but they're few and far between. Yeah, I mean you get one. No, it's the same applies even 400 years ago, 500 years ago, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years ago. War is still war, man. We're perverted in our nature. The bloodshed of knives and swords and blood on a battlefield, you can't show that to a child, to the innocence of a child. But then we raise the question, is it the capitalism that creates that child? Because we could raise that child in a different, we could raise them without this overbearing, puffy love that we have in this capitalistic state. We're like, oh, okay, son, you're feeling unwell today, let's go and buy you a chocolate bar. Oh, okay, make yourself half an hour. Are you really sad? Go and play for 2 hours today. Even if you avoid all the war games, or even if you try and keep it conscious, this world breeds, we're breeding, because nature, I guess, is truth. I guess nature, you're born in to this world at present time. This is me just theorizing in the moment. But it makes sense, you know, nature is truth. And as long as you keep that child in truth from the moment they're born, there shouldn't be a problem. Like the Kogi Mum indigenous tribe. They're a bit different from other indigenous tribes from my understanding, because an indigenous tribe, you're born, they're very strong with the community. Well, they are a community, so they have to be strong. And then there's nature beyond that, and that's the life. And there's nothing wrong with it. But the reality on the other side of nature, which is us, isn't really real. So they take a risk of, does that encounter the truth on the other side in their lifetime? Whereas the Kogi Mamas, I don't know the psychological impact, I don't know the spiritual impact of this, but what they do, and my internet connection is unstable, so I'm just gonna hold on. There we go, it's rectified. So the Kogi Mamas, what they do when a child is born, they have a different way of caring for it. From our perspective, it's very cold. It's very like strange and weird almost. It's like the child stays in a room by itself. I don't know if it's or just the night, but I think it's all the time. And this is there and thereabouts. And only at night does the mother come in to feed it. That's the child's interaction. So there's a connection to the parents. And it could be that the internet's playing up again. Sorry guys. Let's see if I can switch it to Wi-Fi. Maybe that'll improve. So it's very cold. And the Kogi, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correct, but they're very pure. They hold the spiritual wisdom for the planet. They wear white. Any culture that wears white, the Aboriginals tends to be a very high spiritual awareness. Purity, white is purity. So to know within yourself that your actions are pure as an adult being that's spiritual and still able to apply enough humbleness that you wear it, states something. Now I leave it up to every individual to fight the Kogi mamas. Are they pure, are they not? But I'm not there. I just accept it. So they have this very disconnected relationship with their mindset applied approach to childbearing. But I think it's reflective of this world, and it's like, right guys, well this is it, you know, this is nature, we need to bring and raise our children to be real, to be strong, to be sovereign, and able to look at this world and stand there with eyes looking at it, really seeing it, taking it in, digesting it, and then, if appropriate and needed, to respond. Nobody can do that, not even me, because it looks like this, it sounds like this, and that's not appropriate. What you want to hear is the words coming from somebody like a Kogi mama. It's from the moment they're born to have that intention applied on them for the truth, because then they can hold it, and it does. The depression doesn't look like this. Whereas if it comes in at a late stage in life, it's going to be madness. But then again, no, it sounds about right. And yeah, that's the world, you know. You can't show a child that. You can't show a child the reality of this world. And I'm losing track of what any point I'm trying to state, but only now am I coming round to being able to communicate to you that my proactiveness to the depression has reached its limit. I can only do so much. And the depression, where I was on top of it, I have to admit, it's got me. I'm within it. And where I was able to hold a certain strength to it, I'm not able anymore. I'm very weak. I have no control over life. It's totally got me. And let's just see if I can recap for one moment that I just expressed. Being within it and being fearful and having no control. Not knowing how each day is going to go, if you're going to be screaming in hysteria non-stop beyond energetic limits, or if you're able to wake up from a restful sleep at a time that you would hope, and get on with a normal day, is totally out of your hands. And it sort of leans more to the first most of the time. So that's kind of where I'm at. And as I said, I've been telling you all for the past year and a half because I believe I've come to being an adult a different way to most people, and that's probably the difference that separates us, and there's nothing else. Obviously the input I've had over my life, I can see that, and that still remains to be seen exactly the impact, how that differs from many of us. We still become adults. And as an adult, and I tried to give first. I tried to say, look, I know I've come to being an adult a different way to you all, and I know the input I've had over my life, and I know what I've learned over my life. I know its value. I've tried to see this world in truth and honesty, just for myself and just for my love of spirituality. Because if I can see the world in absolute honesty, my spiritual mind expands, and that's all I've really strived for. But that's how I know my sincerity to the information that I've taken in. I know the little bits alongside that where I've tried to better my physique, when the time when I used to train, or the times when I've tried to being proactive in pursuits of financial elements, or in the pursuit of women. These elements, these run alongside. They're very egotistical, they're very ulterior motive led, and they can be compartmentalized separately because they have other energetic influences, whereas this is pure. And I can sort of just know my intention there, and that's where most of my energy's gone consistently. And that's how I come to you all. And with what I have, that I know I have, and knowing the world, I try to give. And look, I've maxed out. So here I am, and I'm saying, it's not that I've failed, but I've hit my limit to collective scenario. It's really gutting because I really thought I was making a point. This is the feelings. I don't give a shit because I wasn't trying to make a point. It was like I was going somewhere that was of value when I was expressing about Palestine and Israel and blah blah blah. And it's not even about them. I could have used anywhere. I know that. To give you an idea, but my mind's just, that's my mind. So I hope you're able to hear what I was expressing and just make your own ideas thereafter. But it's to be humble right now in the moment and say where I've hit my limit. That's the limit of everything I've had as input in my life, and there's everything that I've gone out and sought learning, sought growth from. So between those two elements that make up Andreas Dimitriou's wisdom, knowledge, whatever, I'm at the point now where I'm saying striving for perfection, and what we discussed earlier, that just try and see the truth of the world and try and be as good a person as you can be to the world, and do it for yourself. And that's it, isn't it? And that's been me to this. And I'm hitting a wall where I'm saying it's so painful. I'm aware that the power is out of my hands. The power is the reality is I don't know where the power is, but where my power's been taken away is by injustice and real pain on many levels. And that's on top of a lot of pain that I conditioned myself to before that. So where I'm at my limit, I now turn to you and ask for your guidance, ask for your wisdom. Because I know within myself I can't see other people's wisdoms to this reality that we share. Because I can only approach it in a very innocent, almost stereotypical way, because I look at society and I see what normality is. I don't have the energy and the time to contemplate all the little branches thereof, but I look at what's normal and what most people live. And I struggle in innocence to see where the wisdom is. But I know there's wisdom in everybody. I know there's wisdom in everybody, even if I can't see it. And I ask to that wisdom in you, please guide me. Please guide me in these times where I'm guiding myself, but I'm off course. I'm in a storm, and I tried my best to keep it very light. I stayed close to the coast. I tried everything that made sense to limit any problems, but I find myself in a storm somewhere I don't know, and I'm still doing my best to guide myself, this boat. Where I tried to give for the past year and a half from what I had, this is how I communicate, because from the teachings I've had, communication is very just like all ego. Every single word is ego. So I try to limit the ego. And I've been a recluse, really. Well, no, my mental health has made me isolated. Not a recluse out of choice, or not a recluse, but my mental health kept me busy. And now I decided to sit down, or got to grips with my mental health in a certain way where I could look back at you all. I said, right, okay, well, let's give. I've just had all of this experience. I know the teachings I've had before. I know the input I've given myself. I'm sure I've got something here to give, because I left it to you all for 15 years, and I look at the world and it's improved a little bit. Because the real problem is war in this world. Take away war it's arguable how many real problems we bring upon ourselves, given we're trying to manage 7.5 billion people. But war exists still, and as much as things like drones have helped to limit war and death toll, I hope, rather than just governments instigating war, because if they still instigate wars, then it's all irrelevant. All we need is one big war to happen now. China invades Taiwan. I think it's Taiwan. They're at beef with each other. That's quite tense. And all it needs to be is escalate. You've got North Korea there with nuclear missiles, you know, with the world at them. We've got Israel, Palestine again. Israel with nuclear weapons, and Palestine just lost to all hope of any existence given their past. They're so terrified that they still fire hundreds of missiles at Israel, given that Israel has this anti-missile defense system. What use is any missile gonna do that lands other than appease your own mind of the past? Nothing. It's not helping the situation, is it? Every missile that Palestine fires, it further goes to be a detriment to them. If they stopped, it would be the best thing. They'd progress as a nation. I know that. We all know that. Given politics, that's what makes sense. And I don't want to get into politics, but they can't. They can't. From my understanding, the restrictions they have on them, when they've had all their land taken away and all the injustice that's happened against them, it's surreal. And they're sitting there with all of, I mean, God knows how many people have friends, family missing and murdered and houses blown up, and they haven't got any money to live, and God knows what's going on in the country in way of disease and famine and malnourishment, and it's impossible to comprehend. I have no idea. And you're in that mindset, and it's like, well, fuck this, man. If we die, we die. Fuck it, I'm going to fire a rocket. No, fuck it, I'm going to fire 100 rockets so one hits. It's a really fucked up head. That's a really fucked up head they have. But it's truthful. That's the truth. That's truth. What have any of those people done that have been born in the last 20 years, other than experience everything that's come before in the past 30 to 50 years? And that's where their minds are at. They're born into that. They're born as nature. How can you argue against that? And I'm looking at this as a collective planet, not Israel-Palestine. Fuck borders, man. Fucking hell. And if this is about religion, they both need a smack around their face. It's not about religion, is it? I don't know. It's like my mental health wants to leave me, that I just wanted to get aggy about this conflict, but I don't give a shit about it, man. I'm not in a place to start commenting on that for no reason. Especially when I'm still under the pressure that I've got secret services on my fucking back about everything. I don't want to offend them, that's what I mean to say. But this is just me talking, and this is where I've stumbled upon as a discussion matter, and there's no point here. So my mental health wants to leave me. This is what's happening in my head. My mental health wants to leave me here. Like, Andreas, you proved the point, well done. Like, fuck off. I've done the best I can do, and I gave. And you've either cleaned up the world kind of slowly over the past 13 years when I've been away, and I don't understand your logic to how it's been cleaned up, but I can see the possibility that it's been improved. As I said, the main problem is war, and drones they've half helped to improve it. But all it will take is somebody like China to go to war with Taiwan, and the progression that's possible, or North Korea to get a bit, I don't know, hormonal all of a sudden and start. I don't know the logic of North Korea. I don't look into politics. I don't do this research. Mentality, but all you need is them to get a bit hormonal for whatever reason, or one country to tickle them the wrong way, and you've got a big problem. Drones that, for all the good they were, they're now the evil. And if you look at the logic and mindset that goes into building a fucking machine that flies unmanned with fucking guns and missiles to kill, that's its intent, in a very, very clinical, in a very, very clinical way. And in a way that's been documented quite a few times, that isn't always used. It's able to hit the correct people, and innocent people die from that machine. You'd want perfection, man. You'd want, like, okay, we keep taking out the heads of all of these malicious groups. Just people, one bang. It's horrible to talk about it, but if we're honest about the reality of the world, if this was what drones became, no fatalities elsewise. Just like the top of the pyramid, each and every fucking time, with absolute clinical precision, as they should be, not fucking, oh, well, let's hit and hope. I saw that film with, I can't remember his name, I'm terrible with movies, but there was that movie where they basically displayed about drones, and they've got cameras, they can see, but there is a delay, so it's arguable. But if we got it to the point where it was like head of the pyramid every time, you start to see it's like, well, actually, you save innocent people, and it is like they're still at war. This is the past in action. It's too messy for that, still, from my point of view. And as I said, the world is still crazy, and all it would take is one country to want some more oil, or one country to want some, I don't know politics. Why do people go to war? Why do people go to war now? Huh? Fucking hell. What fucking possible reasons? Iraq had nuclear weapons, and how many people have come out, said time and time again, there's none to be found. What, you blew up the nuclear weapons in Iran? There was no nuclear in Iraq. We've got Iran as well. Fucking hell, war. I don't even understand the logic between Iran and America. I don't understand why they're arguing. But this is reality, and in advancement of human mind, we've somehow forgotten who we fucking are, because we're still able to say, right, let's justify war. In advancement, man, how can you claim anything of this world and society? How can we claim anything, that anything has value, when science, that's meant to be the advancement, hasn't got us to the stage where we can say, yeah, we don't need it. We're so barbaric, let's stop. We still progress with barbaric natures in this very clean, very clinically controlled almost society. We're barbaric behind that. There's barbaricness in that. So in that cleanliness, until we get the fucking barbaricness and the fucking shit cleaned up, it's a sickness. The cleanliness within this society is a sickness. Unless we're all on board, unless we're like, yeah, we all know the past 200 years we really fucked ourselves up as a collective. But now we're all coming together. We all on the same mindset, and this is just the tidy up process. And we have to sort out these few little things. We need countries for the sake of these great minds have devised society. I think it's 3.0, 2.0, no, 3.0 or 4.0. We've had, I remember in geography class as a teenager, I was shown that there's been like two or three different segmentations of society have come together, and we don't know the future. But I'm sure some mind out there has designed it, and I'm sure the governments are pushing for this. So it might be countries, and that's fine. But we all need to be on board, man. Until you start letting the people know that this is the plan going forward, and this is the purpose of war, can we start relaxing about the fucking murders? It's never going to be right. And then we can take a more collective, loving approach. Like, each time there's a murder anywhere in the world, we all collectively give a minute's silence, because no death needs to ever happen. But we understand, and if we don't do something about it, it's only going to continue. So if we're all aware that it's still taking place to reduce, each time there is a murder, we can begin to remember ourselves on a different level, spiritual level, a love level, really slowly begin to reignite who we are as humanity. Because we're dead at the moment, man. We're fucking dead. And the way to reignite that would be to, like, okay, there's been another murder between Palestine and Israel. We'll take a minute's silence tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Whole country for one murder. Because we understand it shouldn't happen at all, but we are born into a sickness of the past. And we are just doing our best to collectively tidy it up. And this one individual, because he has justification in deciding, I wish to fire a missile for whatever reason, because he was born into the same sickness from his side of the fence. And we understand we're just on the other side of the fence, and he's still a human that's suffering our past, that's not our fault. And we're all trying to collectively sort it out. When we come together, Israel comes together tomorrow at 12 o'clock to mourn the Palestinian death, the people, because they understand the fucking importance of what's going on. Not fucking money, fucking land, fucking borders. As I said, I wanted to keep it away from swearing, but it's appropriate to the tone. So, but that's what we're capable of right now, very easily. Everybody will be happy to a certain extent, even the fucking military, isn't it? We're on the same side as you, mate. It's your job to make war as fucking clinical, as fucking over with as possible, quickly as possible. And then when all wars are over, we can sit back, chill, have a beer around the fucking campfire. But I need to ask for your wisdom, I need to ask for your guidance for my life. When millions of people, well, I don't know how many people are dying in conflicts worldwide at present, but when people are still dying and really suffering, and this is the direct question to the secret services that have been following me about because of my big voice, big mouth. Sorry, I incited you to follow me unintentionally. I appreciate that. I appreciate your technology, and you have to censor and monitor, like, this individual's talking about bombs and war. let's make sure he's not a terrorist. I appreciate that. And if you keep it at that level, what's the fucking real harm if we're using technology that we don't have to use? But this is my question to you guys. Why aren't you doing your job, man? The people need to know as well. If drones are there to really help, then make them help. But these tensions that are taking place, these conflicts that are still taking place, really put a question over the practical and usefulness of drones in terms of driving us forward as a species, if not making us withdraw and sending us in the wrong fucking direction. So this is my question to you guys. What's going on? Who are you protecting? Because I'm a human being, the Israeli is a human being, the Palestinian is a human being. Because you're not protecting the human, are you? You're protecting a country, you're protecting money, you're protecting the past sickness that's all brought us here. Until you protect the Palestinian, the Israeli, the Englishman, the Cypriot, the English-born Cypriot heritage, until you start protecting them all the fucking same, paid by whatever country, it's irrelevant what you're doing. You're just pissing around with some sickness in your own mind. That's where I'm at as a human being, as Andreas Dimitriou, Secret Services. You know this by now. You've seen me, you've followed me. And that's my question to you. There's nothing more to say there. But there is an asking from me to you to get your act together, because we're capable of a lot more. Imagine all of that technology that you have there, that you use to go follow people around, make sure we're all protected, that you make sure we're all safe, make sure that this person's sniped out, this person's sniped out, so everybody else is safe. Let's just take a step back from the rush we get from keeping things in check by murder and fear. Take a step back and look at the potential we have as an organisation to really justify our mission statement. So we could do a fucking shitload better. Yeah? Is that not true? I don't know. That's from my perspective. But yeah, any comments for once? Because I'm asking kindly to send me wisdom and guidance. Will be taken on board, because I have no means to progress things with my own wisdom. I'm not hit a plateau, but I'm still trying everything I know, and it's bigger than that. So I need to ask for further input, and yeah, if a comment isn't appropriate and you're of that mindset, and you're able to send it on the conscious wavelengths, then I'm all up for receiving it that way too, because sometimes a straight comment can how can I put it, can be too stimulating for my mind specifically. So receiving it on that more subtle level might help. This is Andreas Dimitriou. checking out from today's message. Thank you for sharing with me. And we'll pick up again not too soon, too long, too soon, too long. See, this is what I mean. I don't give a shit about language. I don't know the sayings. But then again, half my brain isn't working, so I really don't know the truth, if I'm honest. If I had a full brain, I'd done this video perfectly, but I'd question myself, where did that come from? This is a more natural state for me, but I know half my brain isn't working. I'm going to leave it there because that was almost humorous, unintentionally. And it's my sort of humour that makes you think, what's the truth? And I don't have the answer. So that's why I leave it with you, because it's something to think about. And in the right way, it will it can progress, it can make people grow. So do you giggle or do you get enraged?